Okay, Potsapedamus back here. Got some stacks of cards to show you guys today. I made a bunch of orders from a bunch of different places to work on the Arabian Night set that I was talking about. And you know, unfortunately I wasn't able to do an unboxing video because the footage got screwed up, so we're gonna have to kind of do it in this style, but it's totally cool. I think it'll actually be kind of nice to just kind of flip the cards over and take a look at what we got, because we have quite a few to go through. I'll probably stop on a few that I think are kind of worth talking about, or you know, that have exceptional artwork, at least in my opinion. And yeah, this is kind of the first installment in collecting the Arabian Night set, aside from what I showed in that initial video. So it's quite a few cards here, and when it's all said and done, I should have about 55 of the 78 cards. And actually I'm lying, because there's some cards coming tomorrow that will make the 55, so it's gonna be a little bit less than that. So anyway, without further ado here, let's take a look at what we got. So our first card is a Oooooo Jafar. I absolutely love the artwork of this card. It's also, you know, in old school Magic, this was so cool. Kind of similar to like a Loyal Sentry in modern times, but what a cool card. Aladdin's Lamp. So this is done by Mark Teden, or Mike Teden, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. He is arguably one of my favorite artists. It's probably between Quentin Hoover and Mark Teden for #1. This is a perfect example of why. I mean, look at the colors, look at the way he uses light. I mean, it's just beautiful. The card itself sucks, and it's kind of funny, they had 2 5 mana symbols. It was the max they could print, I guess, at the time or something. Actually, that can't even possibly be true, because there's definitely casting costs of 6 in this set. But yeah, they didn't have 10, so they had to do 2 5s, which in subsequent printings, they obviously fixed that, but very cool card. Cyclone, once again, Mark Teden, awesome artwork. Ooh, the Arabian Nights Mountain. So this is a really, really nice copy of it. Really excited to finally own one of these. I've never actually had one. Obviously, I've got a ton of mountains with this specific artwork on it, but I've never had the actual Arabian Nights version. I love the color in the sky there. It's so cool. And this part of the mountain always reminded me of Clayface from the Batman animated series, but very cool to add that to the collection. War Elephant, not terribly exciting. Not gonna say much about that. Unstable Mutation, super iconic artwork. Cool to see it in black border. Sandstorm, awesome artwork as well. Also a very iconic card. Rook Egg, I don't really have much to say about this one either. I don't really know a ton about this card, actually. I never used it growing up. I never really played against it, so yeah, pretty cool artwork though, for sure. Naf's Asp, another classic card. Sorry, I'm going kind of quick just because there's a lot of cards to go through. I don't want to have a 35-minute video. Magnetic Mountain. Curd Ape, I love this card. Very, very cool to see in a black border. Also very cool to see that it's in fairly good condition. I was trying to go for near mint or better, obviously. A couple of the cards I think came in a little bit less than that, but Jeweled Bird. So this one's kind of worth talking about for a second. So this is a cool card back in the day when people played for ante. If you were unfortunate enough to ante up a valuable card, you know, like a Chaos Orb or a Lotus, or, you know, one of the Power 9, you can put one of these in your deck, or several of these in your deck. I don't remember if it was restricted or not, but you could put these in your deck basically, and if you pop this up, you could exchange this card for the ante card. So if the other person won the game, they wouldn't get your Lotus, basically. So pretty cool card. Her Jackal, I absolutely love Drew Tucker's art as well. Really, really cool, really stylistic, immediately identifiable. He's done a bunch of stuff in Magic, and definitely has some really cool pieces. Desert Twister, I've always just loved the print on this card. Destroy any card in play. I mean, it just feels exceptionally powerful. That 6 casting costs back in the day was definitely worth it. You know, nowadays there's obviously permanent destruction for much less. Desert Nomads, another really awesome artwork. Look at that, so cool. From the late Christopher Rush. Not a terribly great card, but very cool artwork. Desert. Arabian Nights lands, gotta love 'em. Camel. Nothing exciting to say about that. This artwork I really, really dig. So cool. That like polarity of the black and the white with the red background. So cool. Awesome, awesome artwork. Really unfortunate centering on that particular card, but maybe I'll replace it. Bird Maiden. This is just an awesome artwork as well. It's really hard to be unhappy and look at this artwork. Also very, very iconic. I mean, this was reprinted in 4th edition, so I used to see these all the time. Alibaba. I absolutely love this artwork. There's just something about the softness of the way that the shading and the lines, and once again seeing it in the black border just kind of gives it a special feel. So really, really happy with that one. Unfortunately, not in the greatest of condition, but what are you gonna do? This is an awesome card. I actually, for the longest time, never saw the fish underneath the water, and I was like, oh, Dan's a boat? I gotta worry about boats attacking? That doesn't seem scary, but it's such a cool, like, shadowy figure, almost kind of monochromatic underneath the water there. It's pretty sick. Ebony Horse. Not much to say about this. It's actually a really good card to pull your creature out of combat. Back then, there wasn't a ton of things to do this. I mean, nowadays, there's countless cards that kind of have that similar effect, but very cool card from back in the day. El Haj. So this is really interesting. I didn't really notice this until I was looking at it today, or somewhat recently, actually. But I did also notice it when I pulled it out of the envelope today. This is like one of the early examples of some of the computer shading where they were using kind of that airbrush effect, and it kind of has that weird like fake look to it. At least that's what I think based upon what I'm seeing here. It's kind of similar to some of the Marvel Flare series artworks, which I might actually do another video on some of the old Marvel cards, just because I happen to have quite a few of those sets already. Jandor's Ring. So this is one of those cards that I'd pull out of a pack when I was a kid and be like, oh man, Dan Frazier artwork, like it's this kind of single point of focus on this one item, similar to like a Mox. It must be worth $1 bajillion million. Not really worth much, but an absolute beautiful card to look at. A little bit more whitening around the edges than I'd like to have on this, but overall I think it'll definitely satisfy. I don't need to rebuy it. Army of Allah. So this card's been around for 30 years or whatever it's been. This came out in '93. And just with some of the cultural sensitivity things that are kind of going around in the world, I believe this card is banned, or it's kind of being, we're trying to kind of strike it from the roster, along with Jihad and there's a few others, not juxtaposed, Invoke Prejudice, sorry, which is, that's a terrible name for a card. But anyway, so this is it falls into that category. I had to pay a little bit more than I would have liked to have paid for this. It wasn't exorbitantly expensive, but because of what's going on, it costs a little bit more. But regardless of the kind of cultural sensitivity issues around it, it is part of the set, and did obviously want to own it. Moorish Cavalry, another common card. Nothing really to speak of there. Is this the last card already? I'm going through this quick. And the last card is Aladdin, which has a very bizarre artwork that makes me feel uncomfortable to look at, if I'm being honest. His face is just, he looks like Pinocchio without his nose or something. He looks like he's made out of wood, or I don't know what it is, but I actually really like the artwork, but it's just very bizarre. So yeah, so that's the last card. So I will slot these into the binder, and on the next video we'll take a look at the 4th edition binder that's completed, and we'll take a look at where we're at with Arabian Nights. Now, this other stack of cards, I was in Card Kingdom purchasing a bunch of the kind of the commons in near mint condition, and I was like, you know what, for the hell of it, I do also want to collect an antiquities set. Why don't I just take a look at what they have there? So this is actually a stack, and what's funny is I think there might be more of these than there were the Arabian Nights. So I've got a bunch of antiquities cards, so we'll take a look at some of those as well. So we got Xenic Poltergeist. This was reprinted in 4th edition, but I absolutely love that artwork. It's always puts a smile on my face. It's hilarious. Urza's Power Plant. So obviously there's a bunch of the Urza's Land. Once again, Mark Teaton just crushing it on the light work in that artwork. I absolutely love it. I think this might be the only Tron land that I got. Urza's Miter. Such a cool artwork. Definitely the kind of thing that you would kind of pass over maybe when you're younger, but looking at it as an adult, it's just really, really intricate and really cool. Really dig that a lot. Titania's Song. This is a part of an old school combo with Guardian Beast where you would turn everything into artifact creatures, and then you could do a board wipe basically, and your Guardian Beast would protect all your artifacts. Tanos' Wand, nothing really to speak of there. Tablet of Epitur, probably the cheapest card in the entire set. Staff of Zegan. I think this is actually the first Mark Poole artwork that we've seen. He was, you know, one of the big artists back in the day. Had a lot of really, really cool pieces. Not particularly one of my favorites, unfortunately. Shatterstorm. This was surprisingly expensive considering, but it was in such good condition that I was like, you know what, I gotta grab it. But yeah, I mean, this is a fairly common card in something like Revised, but was surprisingly expensive. Sage of Latinam. This has like, this reminds me of like the game Bloodborne, but like Christmas edition or something. I don't know, something about it's kind of like got this darkness, but there's also like a little bit of wonderment kind of mixed in. Rocket Launcher speaks for itself. Shoot stuff, kill stuff. Reconstruction. This is a really, really cool artwork by Anson Maddox. As I've been kind of going through some of these cards, I haven't realized like how much of Anson Maddox stuff I actually really, really dig. But this is definitely a prime example. I love the blue, black, and yellow kind of combination on that particular card. Racolite, nothing really to speak of here. Way too expensive to even look at. Not dollars wise, but obviously casting cost wise. Primal Clay. Priest of Yawgmoth. I didn't realize how much of these older sets Teaton did. Tedden. Someone will correct me, hopefully. Power Leech. This is a really cool artwork. Ornithopter. I absolutely love this card. So cool to have a 0 casting cost creature that's also an artifact. Very cool to see that in black border. That might be the only one I own. Orcish Mechanics. I don't know why I did that. I promise I won't do it again. Onulet. That's so creepy, huh? It looks like a little like cowman, like licking out of a little sake dish or cup. Very bizarre. Goblin Artisans. It's kind of cool. Gaia's Avengers. This is one of the better cards from this series. Unfortunately, it's got this weird white print dot. Quite a bit of whitening around the edges. Not super happy with the condition of that one, so I may have to repurchase that. Energy Flux is an awesome card. Very, very cool to see with the black borders. Dwarven Weaponsmith. There's a Mark Poole artwork. It's a pretty good one. Drafter's Restoration. Nothing really to speak of there. Detonate. Damping Field. I'm actually not really a fan of this particular artwork. It's kind of goofy. Clockwork Avian. This is one where the it's an expensive casting cost, cool ability, and really, really cool artwork. Almost kind of like parts of the metal almost kind of have like that photorealistic art style, which is not super common in Magic, but you know, cool landscape in the background, really cool rendering of like a metal bird. So that's a pretty neat one. Clay statue. Satanal Druid? I don't know how to pronounce that. I thought it was Citadel Druid. That's so funny. One of those ones where you just like, brain just finishes, like sees the beginning and just finishes it for you. Battering Ram. Ashnod's Treads Mogrant. That's a really cool artwork. Reminds me of anybody who played Bioshock. What's the Frank Fontaine at the end when he like takes in all the atoms? He's like, roar. That's kind of cool. Ashnod's Altar. This is a great card. Really great artwork as well. Pretty good condition too. That's probably the coolest card I think I got out of this whole Antiquities haul. Artifact Board. Artifact Blast. Artifact. Armageddon Clock. Argothian Tree Folk. I think this is one of the first Antiquities cards I ever owned, and I was like immediately going into the price guide. I don't know how I got it. I got it in a trade or part of a collection or something like that. And I was like, oh, an Antiquities card. And I look it up. Of course, it's worthless. Same with our friend the Pixies here. And then last card, what do we got? Amulet of Krug. This is another one that I think the first time I ever pulled one was in 4th edition. And I was like, oh man, like it looks so like magical and like iconic, and must be an expensive card. Before I knew how to play the game really well. And of course I read the card and I was like, it's probably not great, but I don't know, it just has that look about it, like it's important. So very cool artwork. Really happy with overall with the condition. Once again, Card Kingdom really kind of comes through, and obviously, you know, quite a bit of this came from eBay, so had some good experiences there as well. So yeah, so that's it. Just wanted to show the current kind of haul of Arabian Nights, show you a little bit of like where the Antiquities has started. Antiquities is going to go to the side for quite some time. Because obviously there's a lot more cards to collect, and I don't actually have any. I don't have the 2 big cards I would need to really kind of justify going after the set, which would be Mishra's Workshop and Candelabra of Tawnos. I do own a couple of Power Artifact, which has gone up in price quite a bit, but I bought it, you know, significantly lower to actually combo with Grim Monolith, which I also bought. I think I bought 3 Grim Monolith for $15, like around the time that it the set was around. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and you know, feel free to leave some comments or you know, let me know what you thought. All right, take care, everyone.